I was doing some reading ahead of an upcoming episode about Roman witches, which will be on the Ancient History Hound podcast, and I came across a tombstone which cited a witch in action, and I thought I'd read it out and talk a bit about some of the aspects of it. Now, just in case you're unaware, each year I do a Halloween-themed episode for my podcast. I usually title them Night of the Livy Dead. Yes, it's the pun that won't die. And I usually cover something Halloween-themed, as it were, in ancient history. You can go and find them, have a listen. Anyway, let's get to this tombstone. It dates the AD 20s, and I'll read it out for you. Lucundus, the slave of Livia, the wife of Drusus Caesar, son of Griffus and Vitalis. As I grew towards my 4th year, I was seized and killed when I had the potential to be sweet for my mother and father. I was snatched by a witch's hand, ever so cruel, so long as it remains on the earth and does harm with its craft. Parents, guard your children well, lest grief of this magnitude should implant itself in your breast. Quite a touching tombstone, as often they are. This obviously involves a witch, but the word witch didn't exist as such in ancient Rome. The word witch is far more modern. And what we find, particularly with ancient Rome, is that there are a range of words which are sometimes captured. So witch is almost a catch-all term for different words used in ancient Rome. And in fact, in this instance, the word used there is saga, which can mean wise woman. Often in these kind of contexts, it's the context which makes the difference. So we understand whether something's good or bad, not by the individual, but by what they're doing, because sometimes a saga could be employed to do something perfectly respectable. There are a range of practices which went on in ancient Rome where you could employ different women to do different things. So, for example, do some incantations, read some entrails. There's quite an interesting character in a play by Plautus, and he's talking about why he doesn't want to get married. One of the reasons is the cost, and he cites that having a wife just costs so much because you have to pay for a woman to interpret dreams, a woman to do some incantations, or a woman to do some entrail reading. So there was obviously a large number of sort of services used by women and men in ancient Rome that we would deem as magical. And obviously to what end they were being used for might define whether that person we later term as being a witch. I hope that makes sense. It's really all about the context. In any case, there you have it. A tombstone from the AD 20s where an unfortunate child was snatched away. I don't know if that means that the child was returned or just never found. I hope for the family's sake he was found. But in any case, there we go. And if you get the chance, make sure to subscribe to Ancient History Hound podcast so you don't miss out on the upcoming episode on Roman witches. I'm just scripting it now, and trust me, it's going to be a very, very interesting one.